So you hit level 50, and like most of us, we're completely overwhelmed. You're hit with a lot of information all at once. I get it. I wanted to bring everything I've learned so far together in a quick, concise format to help you understand what to do. Hey everyone, I'm Barkley, and let's get into it. When you first hit 50, you have two goals: to get entry-level gear and to unlock your dailies. When I say entry-level gear, I mean getting your item level to the bare minimum of doing your dailies. If you're level 50 and you haven't unlocked your dailies, you'll need to do more of your main story quest. And if you haven't already, you should set your Song of Return up at Vern Castle. When you first unlock your dailies, you should be around 250-260 item level. From here you have two options: continue your main story or do your dailies. Ideally, you would finish your main story quest and then do your dailies. The only time I would do my dailies first is when I don't have enough time to do both Shoeshire and my dailies before the daily reset. After Shoeshire, you won't be able to continue the story until you hit item level 460. Now let's take a look at your weekly and daily quests. You can access your Una quest by hitting Alt-J or clicking on the Adventure tab. Each character can do 3 of these, and this will be a consistent way to get materials to upgrade your gear. And if you happen to miss any, there's a rest bonus system that gives you more resources, but not as much as you would have gotten if you had done them consecutively, but it's still a nice feature. The daily quests are in various locations in the world, so sometimes that can change what missions you choose to do. And the weeklies are quests that you can complete by just doing content like PvPing, Guardian raids, and Chaos Dungeons. So you'd get them done by just playing the game and doing other dailies. I prioritize doing missions that give leap stones and shards, but keep in mind when doing things on your alts, you want to pick missions with tradable resources if you aren't going to gear them at all. You can see here on the side that there's a point system that gives you badges. Those badges can be turned into gold at a vendor. It's an account-wide system, so it won't take much work to get it done every week. There's also a reputation system that gives you extra rewards, which is worth keeping in mind. Each daily has its own rep, so there is value to not doing the same ones over and over again. And looking at daily PvE content that's quick and doesn't revolve around completing a quest, you have Chaos Dungeons and Guardian raids. Chaos Dungeons, I try to do these twice per day per character. This is 1 to 4 person content where you're thrown into large waves of enemies. You run around and kill things until you get a portal to go to the next stage. There's a total of 3 levels. These only last around 7 to 8 minutes. You will get gear and materials for these, and they go up in difficulty and rewards based off the item level requirement of the mission. You can do more than 2 of these a day, but the rewards will change and you'll start to get perception shards and disorder crystals. These can be used at a vendor to buy things weekly, but keep in mind that the things you buy from these aren't tradable. So make sure to do them on the character that you want to gear. For Guardian raids, they share a lot of similarities with Chaos Dungeons, but a more Monster Hunter-esque type format. You move to a map and go searching for the Guardian you picked, kill it and get the loot. Keep in mind that you can't use normal health potions in these. You can only use HP potions in these, and you can only use a certain amount. Just like Chaos Dungeons, I try to do these twice a day. Make sure you pick up the soul before you leave. If you don't, you won't get loot. Don't make my mistakes. For weekly PvE content, you have Abyssal Dungeons. They open up at 340 item level, so you might not run them on your alts, but it's not a bad idea. They give accessories, engraving books, materials, ability stones, and gold. All the good stuff you'd expect. They also drop gear that can be a higher rarity, which is awesome. And the currency that you get from these can be used to buy that same armor. When you get this gear, don't think you have to re-upgrade it either. You can transfer the upgrades from the gear that you already honed to the new gear. I found the Abyssal Dungeons to be harder than the raids, so you probably want to watch a video or read up on these fights before you go in. The daily and weekly content is good and consistent, but it's not the fastest. But I'm not saying you should ignore it either. The fastest way to gear your character that's not repeatable are the islands. The quest chains on the islands are way too good to pass up. I'm talking about thousands of weapon crystals, armor crystals, harmony shards, and probably a few hundred leap stones. I want to talk to you guys about a few islands that stuck out to me that you won't even need a lot of gear to do. You're going to focus on the recommended item level 250 islands, and when you get higher, you'll do those too. For the first 2 islands, you have Black Fang's Den and Freedom Isle. These are big because after finishing the quest chains at both, you'll have around 25,000 pirate coins. You'll take these pirate coins to the island boat Peto and buy the Song of Resonance for 16.5k coins. There's a few quest chains to do while you're here. The main things you want to pick up while you're here are the Song of Resonance and the Sway emote. You get the Sway emote here from the quest Becoming an Idol, which will be used later in this video. There's an Una daily here too. The next island of importance is Lullaby Island. You'll be using the Song of Resonance here. This is where you get the Song Forest Minuet. You'll start by doing the Fairy quest chain here. This involves you looking for the fairy a few times on the island. Then you'll get a quest called It's Okay Miss Fairy, in which you'll need to do the event on the island 3 different times. This event pops up every 2 hours, so it's not a bad place to put a Bifrost. To do this event, you'll need the Song of Resonance. By the end of this, you'll have the Forest Minuet and an Island Token. Island Tokens are another resource that could probably use its own video, so I won't talk about that here. But don't worry, after this point, it gets a lot less complicated, and it was worth it. Dream Goal Island is where you'll use the Sway emote in the Forest Minuet. It's a simple quest chain that you can do all in one go, since you already got the stuff for this. You'll run around the island helping injured seagulls. The other islands don't need as much stuff as this one, but this is one of the more lucrative islands. The first 3 islands were the most complicated and had the most requirements, so there's not much stopping you from doing the other islands while you're waiting on the event from Lullaby Island. You have Panda Island, it's everything you think it is. For this quest, you'll go around the island doing things transformed as a panda. It's a simple quest chain that can be done in under 10 minutes. For these next 2, you have to do a bit of traveling. For Serenity Island, you have to run 2 dungeons that you already ran before in lower level zones, which was kind of a bummer, but the materials are good. It'll probably take 30 to 40 minutes. Next up, you have Starlight Owl. This quest chain gives a lot of Harmony Leap Stones and Harmony Shards. It's a lot of traveling and very little killing. I'd say it could get done in 90 minutes, but it felt like 3 hours. Toto Silver Island is another good one. I don't know what these rock people are called, but they are adorable. It's a wholesome quest chain that'll take you less than 15 minutes. Glacier Island is another good one. It's a quest chain that starts in peso, so there's a good chance you've already started it. I didn't do it all at once, but I'd say it took closer to 90 minutes. I know I left some of them out. Even though I didn't include all of them, the main takeaway from this is don't undervalue the islands. I'm not the fastest quester, so my times could easily be beaten. And an additional quick tip, you can find the island through its name in the top right. Once again, don't make my mistake. I've wasted more time looking for these islands than I would like to admit. Another regret I have is not picking up a boat skin right away. I turned some of my crystals into gems from the founder pack and bought the boat Hermida's Song. I felt like I said that wrong. This will allow you to speed boost while auto sailing. It's not necessary, but it'll save you time because you're going to spend a lot of time on a boat. Another form of content that doesn't have a reset is the tower. It starts at 302 and scales up per floor, so a nice trick to get materials on your main is to run it first with an alt if you can. You'll get the roster rewards first, and then the characters after that will get honing materials. I wish I took advantage of this more, but worst case scenario, it'll be easier to upgrade an alt. Let's talk about vendors. They have great weekly deals and are easy to overlook. I mentioned earlier in the video that Chaos Dungeons drop a material after you've done the first 2 on a character. You can use those materials to buy a weekly amount of honing materials. You can also buy engraving recipes here too, but these aren't weekly. You have the Bloodstone vendor. Whenever you donate to your guild, you get this material in return. Very little effort, decent reward. The gold might hurt your wallet early, but the silver shouldn't be an issue to turn in. Next up, you have your pirate coins. You'll get these from islands, quests, and events. You'll spend these at the merchant boats. And if you don't have enough pirate coins, there's a good chance you have coins that you can turn into pirate coins. Keep in mind they're not valued the same, and you'll be using all of these vendors for tier 2 and tier 3. The last vendor, which is technically a vendor in a way, is the Mari store. The Mari store is really good, but it kind of crosses that line of pay to win, and a lot of people won't like that, and I understand that. But if you don't care, and it's actually working, it feels like half the time it's not working on East Coast, keep these in mind. And if you don't want to spend the money, you can do the math on the gold exchange versus buying the materials from the auction house. I'd imagine that the Mari sales are more efficient. So you could be free to play and still just play the market like that. And you can take all of this and make a gameplay loop. Do your daily and weekly quests, knock out the island quest chains. If you end up getting stuck at any point, around 580 was really rough for me. Mari could bail you out, and you're good to go. Thank you guys for watching. And if you enjoyed the video or it helped you out, leave a comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. I go live on Twitch 3 times a week. Follow me there. Once again, thank you, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.